In an unexpected turn of event, Jojo Rabbit walked out of TIFF 2019 with the coveted People's Choice Award. But is Taika Waititi's latest effort worthy of all of this buzz? My thoughts on the film coming up.
Did you rub my land?
1,000 generations to the Una.
Here we go.
Hey, how's it going, everyone? And welcome to FilmSpeak, where film is our second language. I'm Griffin, as always, and if film is your second language, consider hitting that subscribe button for more insightful and articulate film discourse and analysis. Jojo Rabbit is written and directed by Taika Waititi, and it stars Roman Griffin Davis, Taika Waititi, Scarlett Johansson, Thomasin McKenzie, Rebel Wilson, and Sam Rockwell. Set during World War II, an awkward young German boy whose only ally is his imaginary friend Hitler has his naive patriotism tested when he meets a young girl who upends his worldviews. When it comes to a film like Jojo Rabbit that is very clearly a satire on fascism, on hate, on everything that is wrong with the world, there's a lot that could have gone wrong. Using an imaginary Hitler to elicit laughs is something that's already going to turn a lot of viewers away. However, what Taika Waititi is able to do here with his Thor Ragnarok follow-up is outline the utter stupidity of hate and bigotry. It's certainly a timely piece, yet transcends our current times as it offers up a touching tale of acceptance. And I think the thing a lot of people are missing in regards to this film is that it's very much an anti-hate satire, which it advertises itself as. So it's unabashedly going to draw from dark humor and make very questionable and inappropriate jokes in order to demonstrate how dumb and stupid these movements of pure hate and aggression and blindly following unjust leaders is. But if anyone's going to successfully tiptoe this line, it's Taika Waititi. Jojo Rabbit's comedy is very bold and makes for some of the funniest sequences of the year. Yet, Waititi understands that these comedic moments help hammer down an emotional impact towards the end, as he's not afraid to put the brakes on the laughs in order to give us a tender moment. And so by doing that, Jojo Rabbit really showcases a filmmaker that has matured a little bit and understands that the message of this film is more important than making people laugh. It's a plea for peace and a comment on how some may be blissfully unaware of their own prejudices. And this is precisely the journey young Jojo goes on. Waititi illustrates how impressionable young minds are and how they can be brainwashed to the absurdities of these hateful movements. This is best illustrated through an incredible opening act that takes place at a Hitler youth camp. The lessons they're taught, the propaganda they're fed, the activities they take part in, it's like a twisted Moonrise Kingdom scenario that Waititi very much makes his own. In fact, this is probably the sequence where most of Waititi's signature humor takes flight. But it's not until Jojo begins to form a bond with Thomasin McKenzie's character that the ironclad ideals that he lives by start to have holes poked into them. And so Jojo Rabbit is really a coming-of-age story about this boy reconciling with the evils he's been taught his whole life. And I think the thing Jojo really should be commended on is how these child actors are able to give such ranged performances well beyond their years. Taika Waititi just has a grasp on getting the best performances out of young actors as he possibly can. Roman Griffin Davis is an incredible talent here as our main character Jojo, and seeing his subtle transformation from textbook Nazi to a more accepting person is something that shouldn't be possible from an actor his age, especially in some of the more emotional scenes. Both his parental figures are pulling him in two different directions. His father is a devoted soldier and Nazi and casts a shadow that Jojo is trying to fill. Yet his mother, played by Scarlett Johansson, is trying to teach him that compassion and acceptance is something he has to learn. And so seeing the internal struggle that Jojo JoJo goes through in order to reach the conclusion that he inevitably does is very emotionally taxing, and to see Roman Griffin Davis do this with such ease, or what seemed like such ease, was probably one of the more impressive elements of Jojo Rabbit. But it's not just Roman Griffin Davis who should be commended here. Thomasin McKenzie is truly exceptional in this film. The emotional journey she goes through is heartfelt, and the connection her and JoJo form is unlikely yet sweet, and you can see how the two start to understand each other better. McKenzie indulges some of Davis's more outlandish theories and even pokes some fun at his belief system, and in turn McKenzie's character discovers that there is good in this world. It just all begins with a conversation. But of course, everyone is excited for Taika Waititi's portrayal of an imaginary Hitler. This version of Hitler is playful and comedic, definitely an imaginary buddy to JoJo. Yet, as events start to unfold and JoJo begins to have this awakening, Waititi isn't afraid to go dark with the character as he personifies JoJo's internal struggle. Waititi utilizes the character just the right amount, and he lights up the screen every time he's featured. Before I give you my final verdict on Jojo Rabbit, guys, why don't you take a second here and like this video, share it with your friends, and subscribe to this channel for more insightful and articulate film discourse and analysis. Taika Waititi's Jojo Rabbit is the director's most mature effort to date. It is an important film that outlines the utter stupidity of being hateful and shows just how easy it is to be loving and accepting. It's a film that hooks you with irreverent comedy only to deliver a resounding gut punch towards the end. Filled with clever writing and Waititi's signature comedic sensibilities, Jojo Rabbit is one of the more unique and delightful coming-of-age stories I've ever seen. It's a film that'll leave you with the hope and optimism that out of the most divisive and difficult times, love will ultimately prevail. And so, for all of these reasons and the reasons I've mentioned throughout my review, I'm ultimately going to be giving Jojo Rabbit an 8 out of 10. And now I want to hear from you all. I want to know what your favorite satire film is down in the comments section below. And if you've seen Jojo Rabbit, be sure to leave your thoughts and opinions down there as well. As always, guys, you can like FilmSpeak on Facebook by searching FilmSpeak Official, and you can follow us on Twitter simply by searching _FilmSpeak. And lastly, if you like me specifically and you like what I have to say, you can give me a follow on Twitter at Griff Schiller. All right. That's going to do it for this review, guys, and until next time, take care.